The NBA has always been a league that celebrates the chosen ones, the prospects crowned before they play a pro minute, the phenoms who get magazine covers at 17, the young talents the league decides will shape the future long before they take a real shot. But this season, something entirely different is happening. No one believed they would become what they have become. And now the NBA is being forced to adjust to a future it never anticipated. Their rise is not loud, it is not flashy. It is not built on hype. It is built on resilience, timing, and a level of growth that slipped past the radar of nearly everyone. The league believed it knew who the next stars would be. It was wrong, and these players are proving it every single night. Josh Giddey's career looked like it was heading into a slow decline. His first 2 seasons showed promise and real ceiling, but everything changed in year 3. The allegations surrounding him spread through the internet with unstoppable force. Regardless of what was confirmed or unconfirmed, the public reaction took a mental toll most 20-year-olds would not endure. OKC reduced his role, shifted him out of position, and eventually gave up on the idea of him running the offense. His confidence suffered. His rhythm vanished. His numbers slipped, and one of the brightest young playmakers in the league began to disappear from conversations entirely. Most teams looked at him as a risk. Most teams believed he was a declining asset. Most teams believed the damage was permanent. But the Chicago Bulls saw something the rest of the league ignored. They saw a misused player. They saw untapped potential. And they saw a chance to rebuild a young star by giving him something OKC no longer offered: the ball. When Chicago traded Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, they faced intense criticism. Analysts called the move reckless. Fans called it short-sighted. Many said the Bulls had ruined their future. But what Chicago saw was a 6'8" guard with elite vision who had never been allowed to lead a team built around his strengths. The moment he stepped into his new role, everything changed. The tempo shifted. The offense breathed. His confidence returned. And the triple-doubles came back in waves. Against Philadelphia, he became the first Bulls player since Michael Jordan in 1989 to record back-to-back triple-doubles. His scoring rose because he finally had freedom. His rebounding increased because he played with purpose. His assists returned because he was running the show again. And for the first time since his rookie year, Josh Giddey looked like the star OKC thought they were drafting. But it was Chicago who unlocked him. A player the league rejected is now the heartbeat of one of the most surprising teams in the NBA. The world expected him to fade. Instead, he rose. And this rise sets the tone for what is coming next. Chet Holmgren was supposed to be a long-term project. Too skinny, too fragile, too unusual to survive in a league filled with 7-foot athletes built like tanks. That was the narrative placed on him before he ever played a professional game. When injuries delayed the start of his career, those doubts only grew louder. But what people forgot was simple. Chet has never been defined by size. He has been defined by skill. And this season, the league is beginning to understand what that actually means. Last year, he was already elite for a rookie. He defended multiple positions. He hit threes at a rate most guards would envy. He protected the rim with instincts you cannot teach. And he played with a calm confidence that made him look less like a first-year player and more like a veteran who had been studying the game for a decade. But what is happening now goes far beyond expectations. Chet has stepped into a role that could change the identity of the Thunder for the next 10 years. OKC already had an MVP-level superstar in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They already had an all-star caliber wing developing in Jalen Williams. They already had depth, shooting, speed, and one of the brightest futures in the NBA. What they did not have was the piece that transforms a great team into a dynasty-level team. A big who can score at every level, anchor a defense, stretch the floor, and erase mistakes on both ends. That is what Chet is becoming. He is no longer just a rim protector. He is no longer just a stretch big. He is evolving into a player who dictates matchups. When a 7'1" center can attack off the dribble, score in the mid-range, hit threes at an elite percentage, switch onto guards, recover after being beaten, and still block a shot without fouling. The entire geometry of a basketball game changes. And in Oklahoma City, you can see that shift every night. The playoff run last season planted the seed. The leap this season is the growth. And the future depends on how far that growth continues. Because if Chet becomes an all-NBA level star, OKC will not just be good. They will be historically dangerous, and the league may not be ready for that. Deni Avdija was supposed to fade away. Washington gave up on him. Fans lost patience. Analysts wrote him off as another overseas prospect who would never fully unlock his game in the NBA. For years, he showed flashes, moments of brilliance mixed with long stretches of inconsistency, the kind of career path that usually ends quietly on a bench somewhere. But something changed the moment he landed in Portland. It was not just a new system or a new coach. It was belief. Deni finally stepped into a role where the team needed him to be aggressive, needed him to handle the ball, needed him to attack, and the transformation has been unbelievable. This season, he is not just better. He is reborn. 24 points a game, 6 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, all while becoming one of the most efficient transition scorers in the league. The stats say he is entering all-star territory, but the eye test says something even bigger. Deni is playing free. He is attacking mismatches. He is creating shots most wings his size do not even attempt. And the most shocking part is that his minutes and usage have barely changed. This is not a player getting more opportunity. This is a player becoming better at everything. His scoring at the rim is up. His isolation numbers are up. His playmaking reads are sharper. His transition efficiency is elite. And late last season, he gave us the warning signs without anyone noticing, averaging nearly 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists over the final stretch before the summer. Add in a monster Eurobasket performance where he finished only behind Luka and Giannis, and suddenly the breakout we are seeing makes perfect sense. Portland is winning games nobody expected them to win, and Deni is at the center of it. For the first time, he looks like a franchise pillar instead of a role player, and for a team building toward the future, that might be the biggest surprise of the season. Every season, we hear about improvement. Players add a move, a jumper, a little muscle. But what Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, and Deni Avdija are doing isn't normal growth. It's transformation. These were players overlooked, doubted, or pushed aside. Giddey was written off after a down year and off-court noise. Chet was dismissed as too fragile for the league's physicality. Deni was treated like a failed project and quietly moved on, yet each one turned doubt into fuel. What matters isn't just their numbers, but their impact. Chicago moves as Giddey moves because he controls pace and energy. OKC's ceiling rises because Chet changes the geometry of the floor. Portland looks reborn because Deni finally became a franchise-level piece. These breakouts reshape expectations. They change front office plans and shift the balance of the league. When a team suddenly gains a star they never expected, everything becomes possible. And when 3 players make that leap at once, the league starts to look different. But this story isn't about the doubt they faced. It's about what comes next, because each of them is only beginning their rise. The most fascinating part of these breakouts isn't what these players are doing now, but what it means for the future. Josh Giddey at 23 already plays like a veteran floor general who reads every possession. As he enters his prime, Chicago could build an entirely new identity around his size and vision. Chet Holmgren is still far from his final form, and that alone should worry front offices. If he keeps expanding his offense and anchoring an elite defense, OKC could dominate an entire era. And Deni Avdija, the biggest surprise, looks less like a temporary hot streak and more like a long-term cornerstone. If he maintains this level, Portland suddenly has a piece they never expected. What ties these players together is possibility. They're rewriting their ceilings, reshaping how their franchises plan the next decade. Breakout seasons create ripple effects. Coaches adjust systems. Teammates shift roles. Executives rethink priorities. And these ripples could become a wave that changes the Western Conference for years. We're watching the moment before the moment when potential becomes expectation and expectation becomes reality. When that happens, the league changes. And now we reach the question behind this entire story. How far can these players go? Josh Giddey already carries himself like a veteran with star-level vision. Chet Holmgren is becoming the two-way force teams search years to find. Deni Avdija is proving that sometimes belief in the right situation unlock everything. These aren't temporary flashes. They're real foundations being built in front of us. And the most exciting part is that all three are still just beginning. Whether one becomes an all-NBA regular or all three rise into stardom, one thing is certain: the players nobody believed in are now shaping the league's future. Thank you for watching.